So, I always seem to get lost in these woods, and I get lost this time too.
I was getting lost just watching this video, so I'm not surprised.
Even though these are not the Lost Woods.
Yo, at least in the Lost Woods, you had something to help you along. Mainly Skull Kid.
Yes, well, in this place you have, to help you along, you have the fact that the paths don't change.
It's also true.
But that never seems to help me. Anyway, you can find one of the guys here. This is like the Scottish one.
Huh? What can I do for you?
So he is.
Well,
I can help ye. If it's music that you're after, just leave it
And
to
Annie,
me
even though you can't hear, you should be able to see just by the way his words are spelled.
Yes.
I've always thought this place was pretty.
It is. 39. That. What is this map actually called?
Macalania Woods. And here's the getting lost part. Because I realize, oh wait a minute, I should not be here.
Yeah. Forest spirits don't live in towns, they live in forests. Woods or whatever.
Woods that are lovely, dark, and deep.
And glittery. Very glittery.
I'm trying to make a literary reference here.
No, I didn't.
You don't know that poem?
I'm not a literary buff.
Oh. It's a pretty well-known poem, stopping by woods on a snowy evening.
I've heard it certain, but I don't think I've actually read the whole thing.
It's not ringing any bells.
It's not much of a whole thing to read. It's like, it easily fits within one page. Anyway, I thought there was a treasure chest here. I guess there isn't.
No, could be.
It's a rude place to put one.
Yeah, it is.
So, yeah, you don't have free camera control in this game, do you?
Nope. There's a circle of butterflies there, but you can't get to it. Fortunately, you don't have to.
Are you going to play the Song of His People?
Wait, what?
Are you going to play the Song of His People?
I don't know what you're talking about.
The dudes were hanging out in the circle of butterflies, right?
Yeah? What
You're
about...
going to summon him with the Song of His People.
No.
Oh.
I'm going to find a different circle of butterflies that I actually
Oh.
can reach. At least this isn't as annoying as the butterfly catching minigame in FF10.
FF10 had a lot of confusing minigames. And by a lot, I mean blitzball.
Alright, maybe this is where the treasure chest is. Yeah, the butterfly catching minigame, that's what you had to do to upgrade Kimari's super weapon. Here's the treasure chest. Is there anything good in it? Marginally. Yeah, I do change my accessories occasionally. Actually, I'm gonna get a really good one at the end of this chapter.
Yay!
Awesome.
You have to work for it, but it's worth it.
Yay!
So here's the ironic thing for my family. Like, so we're going to Key West on Monday,
Yeah.
but the forecast for about the time that we're supposed to leave is snow and ice.
Yay!
So we may have trouble getting to the airport. My parents realized this and booked a hotel room near the airport.
Yeah, you don't want to be stuck in the airport, do you?
No, actually, we didn't want to be stuck trying to get to the airport.
Oh my, you startled me. Whatever could the problem be? I have a
Alright, so that's where you find the other one, at the, what I'll call the Suteki Dane spray, because there are two of them. But only one where the famous scene occurs. Now I'm back at the other one.
Well, that's helpful.
Yes, it puts you right back there. That is
My
helpful.
friends do not seem to object. We will
So once you found the other two, just go back and talk to Byra.
Present a great event.
We'll give them all a real
Give them all a
gas,
real
you'll
gas.
see, eh?
That doesn't sound fun.
Yes, it will be a brilliant finale for our doomed kind.
Doomed? If only all the faith had stayed, the woods would
Why is it spelled with a Y?
But it looks
Because
like
it doesn't
we
mean
are
what
in
it would
some
mean if it were
cases.
spelled with an I. Did you ever play Final Fantasy X?
So remember me talking about Blitzball being terrible? That's when I stopped playing FF10.
What? Oh. Well, you would have known about the Faith by then. Maybe you just didn't remember.
It's
Which-
also been several years.
Which in itself is shocking, because you not remembering something is shocking.
Yes.
Unless you were really tired at the time. I remember that Xenosaga session. I think what was even funnier than your commentary in the Xenosaga session was the fact that you didn't remember it.
Yeah, I remember nothing, and I was watching the video like, did I say that? It was weird.
And then the adjective that you'd used to describe it in a later session, the adjective you used was lolsiest.
I did?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, you were telling me how you'd watched that, and you said that, by the way, my commentary on such and such, the lolsiest.
Probably because I was so tired. I was tripping balls. Or something stupid like that, I don't know. I don't remember, but it was funny.
I thought the phrase tripping balls meant under the influence of a mind-altering substance.
Such as sleep depravity.
I suppose that works. So the last thing you need to do here is, once you have done what the High Pillow asked, you can go back to him to get a reward.
Yay!
Actually, I'm not sure whether we know any High Pillow's gender here.
Thank you for finding
I say that because there's a brief discussion of it in a scene later in the game.
Yoki.
The item is just called Bitter Farewell.
Bitter Farewell, it's a garment grid.
Oh.
It contains death and doom magic.
Fun!
But we all know how effective those spells are in these games. In other words, not effective against anything that you want to use them against.
Let me tell you a story of a game in which this stuff always works, but only when used upon you. These games are anything under Shin Megami Tensei.
Yes.
Although I will say, there is a game I've played that has a good use for that, because in Final Fantasy VIII, you don't necessarily have to cast a spell. Instead, you can junction it to your weapon.
Yes.
Which
The
effectively...
side effect, yeah.
Which means that you can basically attempt to cast it every time you attack. And even if it doesn't work, you're still doing damage.
Yes.
Yes. Confusing as that system was, it was highly useful.
Yes. Because you could have, like, if there was something that was, you know, vulnerable to a certain element, then you didn't have to cast magic at it. You could just make sure that you had your weapon set up right. Alright, so I have a good amount of money, and I went to the wrong place.
Yay!
That wasn't me getting lost, that was me pressing the wrong button.
Yay!
You have like a different catchphrase every session. I think that's it this session.
Yep. That's me. Annoying catchphrases.
What I used to say one day, essentially,
No, see, I could be really terrible and actually think of an annoying catchphrase for each session instead of just saying something a lot.
Welcome to a Walkers.
Somebody dinged me.
No, that might be.
Oh, that was you?
Yeah, it was me getting a message on Facebook.
Okay.
I'm not, like, left DM.
Oh, right, that was the Facebook noise. I should have recognized it and realized that I don't have Facebook open right now.
Is that necessarily a bad thing?
No. I will post on Facebook when I have something important and or clever to say.
Yes.
Alright, paid off more than 2/3 of his debt.
Yay!
Miss Yuna, what can I do for you? Sleep
Pretty
tight.
tight. And I know I probably already did that in this chapter, but I can be a bit OCD about these things. Because the challenge that I'm doing requires one to be OCD.
Which is...
100% single playthrough run.
Oh, does sleeping trigger certain events?
You have to rest in the cabin at least once in each chapter to get a certain scene in Chapter 5. There is no way you would know this.
Of course not.
I mean, maybe they figure that some players would just happen to do it, even though resting in the cabin has no practical purpose because there is no way to be on this ship without full HP and MP and everything. So yeah, it's pretty silly.
And is it mentioned in the guidebook?
Oh yeah, it's mentioned in the player's guide.
I know everything.
Alright, so I'm seeing how many monsters I've seen and how many of them I've seen in Oversoul form. The answer is a fair number and not so many, respectively. Yeah, there are a lot of monsters I've seen but haven't seen in Oversoul form. There are also some that will never show up on them, like LeBlanc's goons will never show up, for example. Alright, so we are coming to the end of the session. Next time we will probably get to Xanarkand, which means starting the actual plot missions after that. So, this is Stinker2112.
And Jen... And AnniexoHoshi.
Over and out. Bye.